G'day guys, it's Aidan again. Welcome back to my workshop. We've done another couple of weeks of my bowl turning challenge where we're getting there, we're getting in the swing of things. I'm finding that it's been a lot quicker to get set up, to get filming, to get my, just get in the swing of things, which is really nice. My turning's becoming quicker and more efficient, at least that's what I'm finding. So only, 8 weeks in now, my skill level has increased. Not as, I'm not the best turner in the world by any stretch of the words, but I'm finding that I'm more efficient. My eyes in better, and that could just be because I'm turning more regularly, doing bowls more. I'm not too sure, but I'm certainly seeing a little bit of an increase in skill level and stuff, which is sort of what you'd expect practicing anything. So we'll get stuck into these bowls that I've done. These two, there's a small Carob bowl and a Sheoak bowl. We'll start off with this little Carob bowl. I don't know if you guys read the little descriptions that I write in each video. Gives you a little bit of a background about each bowl, a little bit of a story of where the woods come from, if it's from somewhere interesting. I haven't really got any off the shelf stuff, so most things have a bit of a story, whether it's one that I've cut down in my backyard. This one comes back to where I bought my lathe from. He was an arborist, or is an arborist, and came with a whole bunch of stuff. Most of it was crap, but you can still get bits and pieces out of it. In that description, I said that it was an uphill battle from the get-go. My wife's cousin messaged me on the Wednesday. I usually film on Thursday, so on the Wednesday morning, he messaged and said he'd come in from Sydney and wanted to surprise my wife, and which was all well and good, but then he didn't actually arrive until later on in the night and stayed quite late, which is fine, but it just meant that in the morning I had an early morning to start, go to work, and then to come home. I was a bit knackered after that, so I think it really shows in this that my creativity was lacking a bit. I wasn't really that excited about getting into this one. That's why I chose a small one, to try and sort of not get it over and done with, but not have to battle with balancing out a big bowl blank or something like that. So there's a lot. Well, I'm being a bit sort of fastidious here, but there's a few things wrong with this, and look, the shape's fine. It's nothing special. It's got a bit of a sort of drastic. There's almost a point in which you can see one curve going into another one. There's nothing important about the foot. The biggest, not a concern, but the biggest problem for me, and it might show up in the video, is that I struggled to, when I'd flipped this over after turning the outside to turn the inside, it was off center. Whether it was an issue with my lathe, I've changed the bearings on it since, so that might have helped. The lathe's as old as dirt, and I don't know when the bearings on it had been replaced beforehand, but that could have been an issue. But the wall thickness is uneven from one side to the other, so it was out of center, and therefore one side's thinner than the other. You can't really see it just by looking at it, maybe with an untrained eye, or if it's on the table or the bench or wherever. But it's there, something to note, something for me to work on in the future. The foot on this could have been a lot smaller, but again, I was trying to get it sort of done and dusted, so I left that quite large. And I've gone I didn't go too thin necessarily on the bottom, but the base of this, it's got some real interesting, like, it's not burl through here, but it's that kind of bird's eye, lots of like little knots and imperfections through there. And as I was trying to take the tenon off the back, I sort of almost ripped a whole chunk out of the bottom, right where the imperfections are on that. So it's fixed now. It's got a bit of super glue in it just to hold it all together, and it's solid as, but yeah, look, it's just another thing to learn. Don't get too hasty. Don't try and rip it off. It's not a band-aid, I suppose. So that's the Carob bowl. It's got really cool grain in it. I like it. It's interesting. There's this pinky color through it. So, and like this, it is an interesting, quirky grain. So I like this stuff. It's fine to turn. So it's certainly not the easiest stuff, but it's definitely by far not the hardest stuff I've ever turned. So I've got a little bit more stashed away. So, and my folks have got a carob tree on their property. So I'll probably be doing a bit more of this at some stage, whether it's on this challenge or just in general. Interesting thing before we change to this other bowl, carob trees are actually legumes, which is something you might not have known. If you're into the podcast world, there's a really interesting science-based podcast called Ologies, where the presenter interviews someone who is a certain expert in that sort of area. And one of them that I listened to was on carob trees. And so if you want to learn more about them, you probably deal with them more than you expect in day-to-day living. You make chocolate out of the bean, and a few other bits and pieces. Really interesting. It's definitely worth looking into. So carob tree, carob wood, not the best bowl in the world, but it was certainly a good learning experience. Finished product could have been better. I learned a lot about myself more so in this one, about how I can cope with being tired, and okay, should I just work harder another day to try and put out 2 bowls instead of just putting up with being tired and putting out something that is a bit subpar quality. So, okay, done. That one's done. This one, so Sheoak. I looked through my video analytics the other day, and there's not very many people watching from Australia, but there are quite a few from the US and in Europe and stuff. So Sheoak is, I think they have similar trees. It's a casuarina tree. So over east, they would have something similar. A lot of West Australians probably don't know that they know what a Sheoak is. You see them everywhere. They're down by the river. They're sort of like a mid-story swampy kind of tree, but they do grow sort of other places as well. We get them a lot down by the riverbanks and things, and it's a hardwood, but they've got needles, which are, I think, just lots of little leaves put together. Stretching my memory there about it, but it's fantastic stuff to turn. It's got great color, and it's got, just like European and American oak, it's got a really, really visible and vibrant medullary ray through it, which is, all of this coming through, which is what you would see on quartersawn oak and things like that. So it has that, and it's fantastic stuff to turn. I really love it. And I would say that if you talk to a lot of West Australian wood turners, they would say that it's probably one of their number one timbers to turn as well. Again, this style of quite simple bowl, probably very similar to that, except this one's a lot better. This bowl came out really, really well. There's really small issues with it. And it's the timber itself, it's not the turning. I would say that this is probably what I would want to turn out in terms of like production model bowls. If I want to sell trying to sell bowls, this is a good little salad bowl. Or put your chips in it. Good gift, housewarming engagement, wedding present. I think this is something that's really good. I could probably, again, make the foot a little bit smaller just to make it a little bit lighter, a bit more elegant. But the curve in this one is really nice. The internal curve is, again, really nice. The wall thickness is not too thick. It's not too thin. It's sort of, it keeps that evenness throughout the whole sweep into the bottom. There's no sort of flat spots. There's no real transition that you can feel, which is nice. Unlike this one's got a bit of a ridge. It sort of does that. I really love this bowl. It's this is what I was trying to get out of this whole project, was to get, if I can keep recreating this, then I'm onto a winner. It's, for you, the viewer, watching me turn these, it's probably nice, but it's not nearly as artistic as what there are other people doing. It's not as artistic as some of the other stuff that I do. But it's a peak bowl. I think it's great. It does what it says on the tin. The negatives on this one, there is a default in here, which, look, it's easily avoided or easily fixed up with just some black putty in there. I'd use some black pigment in some builder's bog or something, and that would sort that out. The other thing, which again is personal taste, for anyone else it might not matter. You might like it, you might not, but it's got this sort of grey water staining. It sort of almost looks like a spalt through that sort of creeps up through this. And because I know what Sheoak looks like, I wish that it didn't have that in there. But again, it's personal choice. Like, some people don't like things like this, but other people do. So it's the same thing. It's just a color variation in the timber. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, if it was not there, I think it would look nicer. And just, yeah. So I don't know where that came from in terms of, did I do something wrong with the timber? Because this Sheoak was from a friend's parents' property. It's actually just down the road from where my parents live. So very, very similar areas I'm getting my timber from, or some of it. And they were going to chop it up into firewood. And so I managed to sweep in and get a couple of logs that I've broken down, and I've made a few things out of it. It's really nice stuff. Some of it's split, so I can't make too many more of this size bowl, but I've got some little smaller bits which I'll be able to do something with, which is good. But yeah, great bowl. I'm a happy little camper with this one. So yeah, it shows what a week can do in terms of tired, bit stressed, want to get it over and done with, to full of energy, got a bit more creativity, a bit more time, so I can relax into it a bit. So yeah, I think it's been not exciting in terms of shape and style and artistic flair, but really exciting in terms of learning curves for me. Yeah, so we'll see what we can put through in the next couple. Let's see if I can implement some of this stuff, maybe try and be a bit more arty. I don't really plan the videos out. I just pick a piece of wood and see what it does, so you're never really too sure what you get. But anyway, I've probably talked enough about all this, and yeah, so thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. I don't know how much of this you watch, but anyway, thank you for watching the bits that you do. The typical YouTube send off is like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It would be great to see who's following me through this. It's exciting to see new subscribers and to chat with people when they comment. It's great to engage with the community and chat with you guys. So like and subscribe. Tell your friends if you think they're going to be interested, or don't. It's up to you. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much. Bye.